And welcome back, everyone. You're watching City Sparks with me, Huma. And once again, we've got professional comedian, musician, jack of all trades, Jack Dani.
Yes.
That's a good throw, right? That's there. Jack of all trades, Jack Dani.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, you do so many things. Now, let me ask you, who were your inspirations as, I mean, I love stand-up comedy, and I've got my preference as to, you know, this is a comic, I like that. Were there certain people that you watched, like stand-up comedians, that really, like, kind of touched you, and you were like, you know what, I like their style, and I want to do that?
As a child?
Whenever, yeah, when you started doing it, yeah.
As a child, it was always Robin Williams and Jerry Lewis, the old school guys, right?
Yes,
of course, but back then I just loved what they were doing, but never thought about doing comedy. When I started doing comedy, it was more of, like Russell Peters, right? His comedy was just doing the accents and observational stuff. So it was more when I saw him live in the city before he had made it big. That's when I started thinking, okay, I want to start doing it too, right? Yeah.
Well, the thing about him, I think, is that, again, being Canadian, we're all immigrants or children of immigrants. And I think a lot of the old school parents who come from other countries, we all relate, regardless of the culture. It's just the same kind of things that we kind of go through.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I got a story. So when I started doing my Italian stuff, okay, I remember this night very clearly. It was at a comedy club downtown, and the place was jam-packed. It was busy, but I looked out into the crowd, because as comedians, we always want to see who's in the crowd, who's kind of what the feel's like, right? So I'm backstage looking at the crowd, and it was very multicultural. And I thought, oh man, my stuff is not going to go over tonight. That's all Italian. Man, was I wrong? Yeah. Was I wrong? Yeah. And it was a turning point, because I did it. That was my stuff for the night. That's what I wasn't going to turn back now. And 10, 15 minutes of all my Italian stuff, and everybody there that was not Italian got it, loved it, and talked to me afterwards, after the show. It was like, we totally related. I was like, my God. Yeah,
because, you know, a lot of those old school cultures, they're conservative, they have their ways, you know. Even I found out, I mean, I know South Asian culture is famous for the arranged marriages, and that's kind of, you know, what we're known for. But in Italy, even marriages used to be arranged back in the day. That's just kind of the way that it was.
It was.
You know, and there's so many similarities. Now, when did you start incorporating music into your act?
Well, that's the thing. So I started with music. I played drums in a band, and piano and guitar, and then guitar. When I got into stand-up, I had all these funny songs, which they're kind of R-rated. But I started bringing my guitar up to do stand-up, and I would incorporate about 4 or 5 different songs that were suited for comedy clubs, right? And that's how I started playing music in the comedy clubs, but playing these funny, silly songs.
Yeah. So now, not to put you on the spot, but is there one thing that you prefer over the other, or do you have an equal love for music and
it's so
comedy?
Equal. When I go up and sing and play, or if I'm at a piano bar and I'm playing instrumental piano, or of course the comedy club, making people laugh, a whole room, it's the best. Like that event where I met you, you know, that
God bless you for that one.
Oh my goodness, there was a full room, and the laughter was like,
oh my God, it was crazy. It was really,
lasts a long time for us even. To hear that.
And then, you know, there was a time, you know, there was some empty space, and you guys had to come up with stuff on the spot.
Yes, we did some of the songs.
Now, is that difficult to do? Like, do you find yourself in positions where you're like, oh my God, you know, I don't have anything funny happening? Or how do you kind of deal with those situations where you kind of have to come up with things on this? Because you really, you did it like a pro. You couldn't even tell that it wasn't prepared.
Yeah. But, you just got to kind of relax and just feel the audience, feel the direction of the night. It's a good night. So the more relaxed we are as performers on stage, it'll be fine. It usually works out.
And I think with really good comedians, wit plays a big part in it. Like, even if you watch Russell Peters, or if you watch some of the great comedians, they'll just pick things out of the audience and kind of like on a whim do that.
They're so relaxed. They are so relaxed. And they can do that no problem. Now,
this is a question I ask all comedians. How do you deal with hecklers? Have you ever been heckled?
A couple of times. You know, if something's coming quick, I'll respond. But if it doesn't, I just kind of ignore it and move along.
But they kind of provide you material, don't they?
Sometimes, sometimes it works.
It works really well.
Sometimes they're kind of asking. If they're close by and you could see them and you can respond quickly.
Is it like a good rule? Because you're always told when you go to a comedy club, never sit in the front row because you'll get picked on.
It depends. It depends. Some clubs, the comics are not even like that. Really.
No, your style was great. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Now, were there other songs? You're doing an instrumental piano CD, I think you just mentioned.
That's another completely different...
With no singing whatsoever.
No, it's just like contemporary classical.
I listened to some of your clips, very, very romantic and very, very light.
So there's that side.
Nice background music. So on your YouTube as well, you do prank calls.
Yes.
Which are so funny.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of your videos, and you just like you just randomly call people and you tell them stories. And I think you booked an appointment one time with he pretended to be an old Italian lady who lost her hearing, and she's calling a doctor's office.
Yeah, it was something that I did as a kid. So I just kind of, I literally did that so much with gather my friends around.
Didn't we all? Yeah, we all used to do that. Now with caller ID, you can't do that anymore.
No, but I mean, like, you know, silly things like that we just did normally. And then of course years later with video cameras and YouTube, we decided to, and lots of guys are doing it too, right? Just for fun. It's just entertainment, right? Yeah, it was good.
So as a comedian, where do you see yourself, you know, in 5 to 10 years, or like, what's your ultimate job? You already look like Ben Stiller now. Like, would you want to be like, you know, do a movie with him? I think,
I would love to. I would love to. I'd love to have him meet him in a scene where he's just looking at me.
And just kind of do that kissy Zoolander face.
Yeah,
right
just together. Kind of a cameo, like, yeah, we